The motion passes 6-0. Thank you both. We now move to a resolution adopting a sustainability and adaptation plan, and this will be presented by our sustainability coordinator, Jennifer Nitsky.
Thank you, Mayor Harmon, members of council. My name is Jenny Nitsky. I am the city's sustainability coordinator. In 2020, the city adopted the One Grand Junction Comprehensive Plan with resource stewardship listed as a key priority. Developing and implementing a comprehensive sustainability plan was listed as a priority action within this key principle. With the addition of sustainability staff in 2022, the city began to work on different initiatives to address sustainability action planning. Last year, in May 2023, we hired consultants from Design Workshop and Spirit Environmental to help create a plan that specifically addresses Grand Junction's unique needs related to environmental sustainability, community resiliency, and adaptability. Tonight, we address you with the final draft plan that has been vetted by a staff-recommended and council-approved steering committee, members of the public through numerous avenues, including a public comment period, relevant city staff, and yourselves over the past 14 months. With that, I will pull up the presentation and pass it over to our consultants who are joining virtually. Anna Laybourne is online, and she will walk you through the plan and the process.
Thank you, Jenny. Let's see, are you able to pull up the presentation there?
It's up on here.
We're working
I have
on
it up on here. I might need some help from the clerk's side.
There we go.
Okay, Anna, you probably can't see our screen, but it is up. The front slide is there, and just let me know when to hit next, and I will move it along for you.
Very good, thank you. All right, you can go to the next slide. Thank you for joining us for this brief presentation about the plan. This slide shows the brief look at the process steps and inputs that were used in creating the plan. The plan creation effort launched in May of 2023 and has included 5 key phases that have led to the creation of the plan you're considering tonight. Next slide. The process included technical data-driven analysis, such as baseline assessment and existing condition snapshots to ensure reliability and accountability. The technical analysis was interwoven with community involvement, which we'll explain more on the next slide. It's important to note this technical content was shared in a digestible way to the community, where the general community, steering committee, and technical working group and staff provide key inputs to inform the plan creation for a community-driven plan. Next slide. Development of the plan has been a process of deep listening to the community and seeking innovative solutions to address local issues. Community members and stakeholders provided insight into how to tailor this plan to fit the needs and values of the Grand Junction community. Hearing from the diverse perspectives, including youth and other traditionally underrepresented populations, was critical for creating an equity plan. To garner community input, focus groups, open houses, pop-up events, and online engagement through Engage GJ questionnaires and roadshow presentations were held throughout the process. City staff, project committee members, and other stakeholders were involved in every step to develop appropriate and implementable strategies. Go next. The steering committee has played an important role in directing and guiding content throughout the entire process. We thank them for their dedication and sharing their insight. Next. This effort has led to meaningful touch points with over 1,000 participants. We will note, given the robust community-wide survey methods were used, it will note that given that robust community-wide survey methods were not used to be cost-effective, these are very high engagement numbers as participants were asked to engage in meaningful ways. They're not just informed, they were consulted with and collaborated with to shape the plan. Praise goes to the city project manager, Jennifer Netsky, and other city staff for their extraordinary efforts to foster community conversations and build relationships. Next, I'll move into the plan overview. And with that, the plan document is structured with an introductory chapter to set the stage, a snapshot of current context and community input findings, and Chapter 3 is the real heart of the document, providing the plan goals and strategies. Chapter 4, Implementation Priorities, provides more detailed actions to ensure this plan does not sit on a shelf, but rather is actively used to guide city staff and partners. Next. Chapter 3 and 4 include this hierarchy of information: focus areas, goals, strategies, and priority actions. Their combination expresses a long-term vision of objectives with the details of what is to be done to create a more sustainable future, and prioritizes efforts for realistic and practical achievement. Next. 6 focus areas were determined for this plan. They are built environment, climate resilience, energy stewardship, waste management, water conservation, and city leadership. Chapter 3 includes descriptions of these focus areas, 12 plan goals, and their nearly 100 supporting strategies that were vetted by the Community Steering Committee, city staff, and implementation partners. Okay. Next. The dashboard highlights the plan goals, each with a baseline measurement of current conditions and directional target for how to measure success moving forward. This will provide ongoing transparency and accountability to keep the plan on track. Next. Lastly, Chapter 4 identifies key actions that are most urgent or impactful for the city to address. This implementation priority matrices provides a roadmap for how the city will allocate resources, deploy efforts, and adapt to changing circumstances, ensuring a supported and intentional path. And with that, we thank you for your time and support in creating the plan.
Thank you, Jenny. Any questions or comments from council?
Yeah, are we?
Go ahead.
Yeah, are we going to get more from the actual plan itself, or is that kind of where we're?
I'm assuming because we covered it so much in our last workshop, has it changed substantively, or not our last one, our one where we discussed this?
Yeah, it has not changed substantively. Thank you for the question. We made sure to include a strategy related to river corridor initiatives, as Councilmember Kennedy had mentioned, and we cleaned up a couple of grammatical issues that were brought up as well. But most of the larger changes came before that, between April and June, during the public comment period, and when you had seen it between those 2 workshops.
Thank you.
But we do have slides that we can show if you are interested in seeing more.
Actually, if you would you pull up the steering committee letter of support, please?
I don't have that on the computer. It was in your packets.
It's in the council packet if we can, if there's a way to do that. While we're doing that, and I don't want to read that entire thing, but basically by my reading is that this letter of support is signed by the steering committee. It says SAP Steering Committee. And it says, on behalf of the steering committee, we want to express our support for the proposed sustainability and adaptation plan, forward-looking plan, and it goes on and on about the accolades of the plan and really supporting the plan, and gives us all the impression that entire steering committee was really impressed by the inclusive and rigorous process that went into developing the plan. And I have no doubt that some of the folks on the steering committee felt that way. However, I did receive an email from some of and had some additional conversations with some of the steering committee that expressed some significant concerns with it. And before I jump into that, I do want to point out and do want to compliment staff on the work that they've done on this. I think it's an important topic. We do need to be thoughtful as we grow as a community and certainly mindful of our environment. This letter is from Chelsea Mira, Western Colorado Oil and Gas, and Brad McLeod with Xcel Energy. Cody, hope you are well. Brad and I are unable to be at tomorrow's City Council meeting because of the late holiday weekend. We wanted to be sure that you and the rest of Council understands that we, as steering committee members, did not actually sign on to the support letter. Jenny sent a draft of the letter out, and I know a few members responded positively. However, I and a couple others had hesitations or were not formally asked to endorse any final draft. I also remember the consultant stating that we would not be asked to endorse the plan as steering committee members. We were asked to be on the committee as a working board to offer insights, ideas, expertise, and critiques. The entire project was not a consensus approach exercise. We had discussions, the drafts changed, there were no revisit on the agreement, disagreements, etc. This includes up to the end where the activists, NGOs, and organizations that were suggested to be joined by the city, which many of us thought to be inappropriate. And I believe we did not. I believe that was taken out. We were honored to be involved in the steering committee, and there are parts of the plan that were thoughtful and based on local information. There were other parts, as mentioned above, in the joining the activist groups that we did not have consensus on and are more appropriate in a Boulder or Aspen plan. The plan is obviously directed and led by a template put in place by the consultants and farmers market attendees and R5 students that had just as much weight in the ideas as expert steering committee members at times, or even more in the word cloud exercises. Feel free to use this email as you need. Let us know what else we might do to help. So, and I'll be sharing that just as a part of record. But just to go on a little bit about some of my other concerns, and I voiced this during workshop, and I counted noses, and I don't think this is going to change outcomes tonight, but I think it's important that we come mindfully to this and really realize how hard we're leaning in the direction of solar with this. And actually, I'm not against solar. I think solar is wonderful when it's used in the right way and appropriately. I had a conversation with Lou Valeri, who's here tonight, one of the owners of Elasta just today. He gave me a lot of great background information from his expertise, and I support solar. What I don't support is that if we're going to go and lean into this, that we don't do some type of, at least put into the document that we are not going to be buying solar panels from sources that don't ethically source materials, such as China, that not only doesn't ethically source the materials, but also leans on slave labor to produce them. And then we also have, there's the concern about what happens at the end of life for these solar panels. And I was hoping that we as a council would say that if we're going to bring this type of encouragement for solar in our community, that we would have a policy that would encourage or enforce at the end of life that those panels be recycled. Solar panels, not all, but some of solar panels are actually hazardous waste. And 90% of solar panels at the end of life end up in a landfill. And I care about our environment very much. I am not here to say that Grand Junction needs to regulate absolutely everything, that every solar panel has to go, has to be recycled. I would be more inclined to go in the direction of less regulation and encourage responsible stewardship of our resources as we look forward to growing as a community that continues to thrive in Western Colorado. One of the things about living in Western Colorado, that we're blessed with this amazing environment, we also live in an EPA attainment zone. We do have great air quality here, and I hope that we continue to have that. What air quality problems we do have generally come from forest fires, maybe out of state, that impact us. So as we continue to plan to go forward, my big concern, and I voiced this over and over, and I know council members here share that, is affordable, attainable workforce housing. I don't see this as being beneficial for that goal. To me, we need to be thinking about costs, and we need to be thinking about regulations that proactively and positively build up our housing stock in every way that we possibly can. That's where we should be expending our energy. Yes, we should be good stewards, but we should also be thinking about that. I don't think our 2020 comp plan, that's often referred to as a reason for bringing things forward like this, such as a few words like stewardship, that it warrants necessarily a 60 or 70 page document like we received from our consultants designed workshop in Spirit Environmental. I think that we can be good stewards without having a framework like this for future regulation. And that's what I see this as, a framework for future regulation, so that 5 years from now, when there's council members sitting up here and staff presenting, they're going to say, hey, look, here's this plan, the sustainability plan, and it's in alignment with this, right? And this is why we're doing this, and this is why it costs more. I don't want to see Grand Junction turn into Boulder. I don't. Boulder's a beautiful place. I don't choose to live there. I choose to live in Grand Junction. I would encourage us to be mindful of the costs associated with this. And like I said, counting noses the other night, I think this plan might move forward. My hope is that we would have some type of framework as a council, that we would revisit this with if it does pass, and I'm not going to vote for it for the reasons I've mentioned. I do love the environment, especially our rivers and riparian areas, but not this plan. So if this does pass, I would hope that we can build a framework that we would revisit this every 6 months, no less than once a year, that we would have an eye towards what is this actually costing us, and what is the good to the community, and is there more detriment than benefit to Grand Junction, especially around affordable, attainable workforce housing. Thank you.
Other questions or comments from council? This is not a game show that we have decorum here. Please don't applaud. Please don't boo people. When we have speakers get up and make public comment, you don't boo, you don't cheer. Everybody needs to feel comfortable voicing their opinion in this room. Thank you. Other questions or comments from council?
Cody, could you clarify that you mentioned about the use of electronics that were sourced overseas. Would you expand that to all electronics?
So if you're speaking along like the BAA, that federal regulation, the Buy American Act, if you're kind of referring to that, I don't think that. Okay, yeah, if we can buy American, great, we should, especially if as a city. I don't think that we should be over-regulating this, with the exception of that we would have policy that would encourage the utilization of ethically sourced electronics. And it's not just that the way the products are mined, or the fact that China's producing these panels with coal-fired plants that are not regulated the way our coal-fired plants are. And so that's my concern. I don't know if I'm answering your question.
Well, Scott, I appreciate that, but you realize everything that we have that's electronic, it falls into the same category. So, I guess I'm saying time out. We're going to be outlawing laptops pretty soon, and right. Cell phones. I mean, they all use the same product or the same materials. So from the same countries.
I would say there's this monitor in front of me may probably quite possibly be built in China. There are great companies that are ethically building solar panels. I'm not saying don't do solar. I'm saying let's just do it ethically. And there are ways that we can source that within the United States, and we can use great local companies like Alasta, and we can be successful with it. And we can see more solar in our valley. And I'm not opposed to that. I've shared with you that I think it would be great if we would consider all sources equally with an open mind, and up to and including a carbon capture natural gas power plant that we have, since we have an abundance of natural gas in Western Colorado. But my hope is that we're open-minded, two, that we think about the ethics of what we're encouraging when we're leaning so hard in the direction of solar panels, is we're not leaning hard in the direction of everybody buying a new monitor for their computer for their home or their office. What we're doing is trying to encourage a lot of solar. And with those solar panels, 80% of those being manufactured in China, that's a significant concern for me.
That's fine. Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. I know there's a lot of concern about, the input that went into this whole report and the implementation of the sustainability plan. But this is basically a template, and I'm looking at the ZZ and AA on the city leadership efforts. And Jenny, can you just share with us, what is actually, we're already doing some of the things in the sustainability area. We've talked about that. We're already recycling. We're already expanding that. We're already saving water. We're doing some good things, which are in the plan. So some things are in place. But a lot of stuff, most of it is to come. And could you share how those things are going to be, how those priorities will be gathered and implemented going forward?
Thank you, Councilmember Biothis. You would like me to respond about how the strategies are too calm? Is that what you had? No. No. A lot of the strategies, some of them are in place already. Yeah. Going forward, we're going to implement some more, but there's a process to what we pick to implement, right? Yes. So to talk about that process a little bit, there's going to be a committee. This yes. whole thing is not a push button project. We're not going to do everything at once. Absolutely, that would be infeasible. I am a staff of 1, and there are 87 strategies within this plan. So this is being adopted via resolution. It's a guiding document. It's a visionary document. Anything that would be establishing a policy or any type of regulatory mechanism would have to come back through you all. This is really stating the vision. This is extrapolating upon the vision that came out of the comprehensive plan. And so, yeah, this does not initiate anything by adopting this. One of the strategies in the city leadership section that you mentioned is to create a sustainability advisory board, which is similar to many of the other advisory boards that you all sit on. And those people would help to update the Chapter 4 implementation matrices so that we are staying relevant and so that council is made aware of anything that might be coming your way. And it will also involve numerous community stakeholders. So it's not just staff making decisions. And it wasn't just staff making decisions for this plan either, but it will continue to be a community-led effort. And the committee would have open meetings. Public would be invited to those. Correct. Possibly we could do some outreach into the neighborhoods and talk about some of the things that we're looking at implementing. Yes, that is correct. So I would say this, and just a little bit, is that, I've worked for a long time to get sustainability on the books with Grand Junction. We're, decades behind other communities in the state, in the country. I don't think we have any concern about turning into Boulder. So I think we can all calm down on that one. People do move here because of the beauty of the area. People move here for the environment. People move here to participate in the outdoors. And I think we have a duty to be a part of the stewardship of those things around here. And to me, that's what sustainability is. We're trying to make things better, present a resiliency plan for the changing environment. We all know things are changing, going on. We may get a surge of climate migration up this way. Things are extremely hot in the south. They're extremely dangerous in the Midwest. And we're pretty calm here, and we'd like to keep it that way. We do have a lot of heat going on around here. I think there's some things we can do about that. And you know what? We can all work on this together. I met with some of the folks in the audience, and I don't think we actually came to any conclusions, but we worked on this for 2 hours, and we didn't go out swinging.
And so I am very hopeful that I think there's going to be a lot of good ideas coming down the pike about working on things together and what we can and can't do here. Some things do take a while to work on. You know, as far as throwing away solar panels and stuff, I grew up during the 60s. My grandparents kept their cans. Remember all the stuff from saving from World War II? And I mean, personally, I think our recycling efforts are hugely important right now. And I think there's some things we can do with the solar panels to keep them for future recycling when we're able to do some of that stuff. If anything, we should be recycling every metal that we have here to prevent needing so many overseas supplies. I mean, all these things and all our electronics came from overseas, rare minerals, we know that. But are we doing everything we can to stop having to use them? And to me, sustainability would really help in those efforts, make us more secure, and it's a thing that we could all work together on, and I don't think anybody would have any problem with that. So I totally applaud everything that you guys have done. There's a lot of work to be done. I totally believe that people in the community and can work together on this, and that there'll be some outreach and other committees, and you know, bring ideas is what I'm saying. Thank you.
Dennis, Randall, Anna, any comments or questions before we take a break and then get to public comment?
Yeah, just speaking more as a homeowner and less as a council member. I moved to a new house 4 years ago, and about a year before we sold our last house, we installed solar panels in the house, and our power bill went from $300 down to about $10 a month. In our new house, we're paying $400 a month again. And when I think about affordability for people living in their homes, I think of that $5,000 that we would be saving if we had panels on our new house. And so for me, that's the real consideration for me, is how can we help people save money, get that savings in their pockets. $5,000 a year is real money, and if it can also benefit the environment and reduce the use of fossil fuels, I'm all for it.
Dennis, Anna?
I have no comments right now.
All right. This is a public hearing, but we've been going for almost an hour and a half. So before we get into public comment, we're going to take a 10-minute break. So we'll be back at 7.